Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech, protected.
Did this movie make you want to go to your high school reunion?
Not even a little bit.
What if George Clooney and Maureen McCormick were there?
Not even a little bit.
Do you want to wait a little longer to start the show?
Not even a little bit.
All this and more on Gory Story Time.
Warning. Gory Storytime is a horror movie review show by a son and his dad who thought that letting his 5-year-old watch scary movies was acceptable. If you are offended by horror or talk about blood and gore by a child, or if you don't want horror movies from the 60s through today spoiled, then there is a remote stuck in your couch cushion next to potato chip crumbs. Use it. And of course, parental discretion is advised.
Why? You didn't use any.
Shut up and start the show.
Welcome to Gory Story Time. I'm your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and father, Craig, and this week we are reviewing the 1987 film Return to Horror High.
Yes.
I had originally seen this probably in the very early 90s. It was rerun late night on USA Network. They had a show on Saturday called Saturday Nightmares, but then they also had on the weekends USA's Up All Night, which had been hosted by Gilbert Gottfried, but also was hosted at one point by a woman. I can't think of what her name was, but she had the high-pitched, squeaky voice and large chest, was literally the thing, and she would play low-budget movies that was
for adults.
And they would cut out the adult stuff.
Even though it was on, like, all night?
Well, this was back before you could air that stuff late night like that.
Well, then it's not really the thing it's setting out to be.
Well, anyway, so I had watched it edited for TV. He had never seen it before, but I knew he would be in for a fun ride. Would you like to tell him what the basic premise is?
Yeah, so some murders happened a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So a movie crew said it would be great to capitalize on that and pretend a bunch of different stuff happened instead.
Basically, they went to film the true story of the murders at the site of the actual murders.
And then new murders
start happening.
Yeah.
People on the crew turn up missing and such.
Yeah.
That sums
about
up the
it.
premise without giving anything away with twists and turns along the way. But why don't we throw it to the commercial or the trailer so you can see what we're talking about.
In 1982, Crippen High School was the scene of a series of brutal, savage murders. The homicidal maniac who committed the crimes was never captured. Now he's about to return.
Killer to the left! Killer to the right! Stand up! Sit down! Right!
Return to Horror High. It's a scream.
That trailer showed you absolutely nothing from the movie.
And somehow you still know what's in store.
It lets you know that it's going to be a little cheesy.
On the cheese side, yeah.
Yeah. A little queso-ish.
Yeah, it's like an E-tier film.
E-tier? All right. So before we get into the behind-the-scenes facts, one of the things that we have to do is explain why we're here.
Yes.
See,
money.
Even though we say it every time,
people seem to not get the idea.
They think that we have a show that's dedicated to horror because we're horror fans. Granted, we are horror fans. But yeah, the real reason is money. And how do you make money, you ask? Well, with less than 100 subscribers, not from YouTube. Anyway.
Yeah, not yet.
But if you like this, subscribe. Anyway,
The button
we
right
sell
here.
ourselves to big corporations that want to reach all 93 of our subscriber base.
Yes.
Because, that's worth their
Heck,
money.
if they sell one of these to each, it's like $93,000, right?
Oh, is it? Anyway, this week, the way we're paying our bills is by advertising these wonderful items. Gory Storytime is brought to you by the 20-Year Reunion Yearbook. Designed to look like your high school yearbook, the 20-Year Reunion Yearbook has updated photos of what your classmates currently look like. Check in and find out if the person most likely to succeed actually succeeded. Who got fat? Who got bald? Who got divorced? All this and more in the 20-Year-Old Reunion Yearbook. The 20-Year-Old Reunion Yearbook brought to you by GST, the makers of crap that's pretty awesome but you really don't need.
Yeah. And by Murder Mystery Accessories, formerly referred to as MMA until a lawsuit happened. Murder Mystery Accessories doesn't give you the plot to murder.
To a murder mystery.
Okay. Doesn't give you the plot to a murder mystery. We sell you the accessories to fill out your story. Need some random limbs to leave around? We've got you. We've got you covered. Need fake books that hold clues? We can make those too. Whatever it is you need for your murder mystery weekend, we can supply the physical props that you need. As we like to say, the only thing we can't supply is the talent.
All right. Now, that's not how it's. I guarantee if I show you it that's a glitch somewhere else. Because it didn't say it that way.
That's why I flubbed for a second.
I understand. All right. We're going to get into the meat and beef of the show.
Or as I like to call it, the meat and beef of the show, because potatoes are bad for you.
Yes, that's what it is. You want to start?
Sure. This movie is unrelated to the 1973 Horror High.
Some famous faces you're going to see if you watch this movie are Maureen McCormick, a.k.a. Come on.
The Brady girl?
Mm-hmm. Marsha was...
Oh, okay.
You have to say that line. You know that line.
Oh. It's the one with the dead dad.
Alex Rocco, who was in The Godfather and a bunch of stuff, you definitely recognize his voice because he does voiceover also.
Yeah.
For example, he played the heavy-set woman that Peter punched on
Family Guy.
Yeah. And George Clooney.
He's Batman.
Well, that's what he's best known as.
That's the thing he was known for ever. The production budget was $1 million, and they spent it on buckets of blood instead of stuff.
Well, Lori Lethin played 3 different characters. She said they just slapped different wigs on me, and I got to play all the different characters. It was really fun, and that was probably one of the best times I had working on a movie.
This is Philip McKeon's movie debut.
There we go.
Yeah, I was making sure I said that right.
George Clooney and Alex Rocco both had recurring roles on The Facts of Life, which starred Philip McKeon's sister, Nancy McKeon.
Philip McKeon carrying fully nude Joy Heston on his shoulder in the locker room was named number 12 on its top 20 gratuitous nude scenes of the 1980s by Website Flashback. Yeah, Website Flashback without the C in July of 2014.
Yeah, that's how they spelled it. So
Yeah.
that's filming for Return to Horror High took place at John Hughes Junior High in Woodland Hills and Clark Junior High in Glendale, California.
In order to avoid an X rating, the scene within a scene sequence in which the biology teacher's heart is dissected had to be pared down in post-production.
It's weird that that's where the X was coming from and not the gratuitous nude scene.
Right?
I'll get into it after. In Callie's nightmare, she jumps into a Ford Fairmont to escape the killer. However, when she tries to start the car, the steering wheel clearly has a Pontiac emblem.
Yeah.
How do you forget what car she's in the scene?
Right? Oopsie. A trapdoor on the bottom of the sandbox, large enough for a man to go through, would quickly allow most of the sand to spill out. Yet, the sandbox remains full.
Yeah, these are some of the bloopers. No, these are some of the bloopers. Because they didn't have a lot of facts. Because if you think about it, it wouldn't physically be able to do what it did in the movie.
But they wanted it to do that, so it's not a mistake. They did that.
Right, but
it's a special effect.
But the point is, there is no way for that to have actually worked.
Right.
Anyway, early on, we meet Oliver, an actor playing Steve the policeman, who investigated the 1982 murders when they happened. Later, it's revealed that Steve and Kathy were in high school together at the time of the murders. If Steve was in high school, he would not have been a policeman yet and could not have investigated the murders.
After all the credits, you can hear the mop bucket squeak as it passes by. Why didn't we stick around for that?
It tried to load another movie.
Yeah.
It's on a free streaming site called Tubi, for those who know that and don't. It's not a
sponsor, but they're awesome.
In the U.S. and Canada, it made a total of $1,189,709, which is rather specific.
So, I mean, it made its money back then for a budget of $1 million.
But the budget of $1 million usually doesn't include the
advertising.
Ads. Yeah, so
yeah, I bet they spent a whole lot on those.
Well, you saw the trailer.
Yeah, I couldn't have done that for free in 30 seconds.
Any of the footage? It was all new footage. So I
mean, wow.
And we've got a couple taglines since we didn't have a lot of information.
Mine: school spirit has never been this dead.
And the one that's also there: killer to the left, killer to the right, stand up, sit down, fright, fright, fright. Like anyone that goes
this movie has absolutely nothing to do with cheerleaders or cheerleading.
Right? That's the best part.
You know?
It legitimately, I don't think any of the characters were a cheerleader.
None. And if they were, I don't think it was mentioned more than the one passing time if it was mentioned, but I don't remember that happening at all.
Anyway, now's the part where we like to give you the Rotten Tomatoes score. And Rotten Tomatoes, here's how it's supposed to work for those who don't know. They take all the professional critics, which would be people like us that get paid.
Yeah.
That's why we're not asked for our opinions. And then they just figure out, were they positive or negative reviews, and that's all there is to it. They tell you the percentage that gave it a positive review. And the critics that reviewed this movie have it at a whopping
0.
5 critics reviewed it. They all said it was garbage. The people also get to have a say, and when it comes to horror and comedy, they tend to go higher.
More than 5 people reviewed this.
Okay. Well, it's way higher than 0%. It's 17%.
I gotta say, that's a little lackluster.
It is.
I was expecting some fantastic number from the people because of what this movie is.
Yeah.
And
we have way more respect for schlock.
The Killer Tomato movie was rated high by everybody.
And honestly, that has some kind of slow parts, which is weird to say about a movie about tomatoes that
kill people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I know you enjoyed this. So what was your least favorite thing? Because we always go with the opposite of how we felt.
Okay. My least favorite thing is the final twist.
Without ruining it, okay. Like, we highly recommend you watch this movie if you like schlocky 80s, buckets of blood, random boobs for no reason.
Once. You know?
Yeah.
Well, actually, apparently there was the other scene.
But there
was an exploding nipple.
There was an exploding nipple. That happened. It wasn't attached to anyone at the
Not
time,
anymore.
to be
He
fair.
Ripped it off and threw it.
Listen, if you knew it was going to explode, wouldn't you want it? She probably didn't want it anywhere near her.
Yeah, but to
Anyway.
be fair, she didn't even know it was exploding.
Yes, she did.
Oh.
You weren't paying attention to that scene where they were talking about
Well, then why did she let him attach it to her?
because it was part of the movie. It was supposed to explode on her.
It was a real explosive. That would have been bye-bye booby.
All right. Anyway, my least favorite part was probably the fact that watching it when I was younger and watching it uncut this way,
It doesn't feel like you were missing that much before.
I really wasn't, which means that the only boobs and the only swears were just gratuitous.
Yeah.
Because they left in all the blood on USA. It was they blanked out the cuss words and they cut around the
Chests.
Well, there was more than chests in the
Other scene.
that they called the most gratuitous, but it wasn't like it didn't change the
Feel
plot
over
in
the
any
top
way.
at all either, but whatever.
So, what was your favorite part of this movie?
Well, the first twist.
The first twist.
Yeah. So
Oh,
I'm spoiling it. All right.
All right.
So we find out that the killer is actually what, Stanley? No,
Jan-
wait, we were calling him Stanley. No, so the weird old janitor guy who was definitely
African-American.
African American, definitely weirdly
I
into
only bring
like
that up because it's important to the
70s
twist.
porn, which was weird that he kept talking about it.
Yeah.
And then our two protagonists jump into action. They find him in the basement with all the dead people. And he rips his face off and becomes the janitor. No,
the
he is the
principal.
janitor. He becomes the principal and reveals to us that the janitor never existed.
And he's a Caucasian man who was the principal during the actual murders. Because.
And he was pretending to be the janitor for like 20 years.
And still the principal.
Because like
Which is weird because they had shut down the
the
school.
other students knew this janitor.
Yeah. All right. But you didn't
I loved that.
you
That
didn't
was
like the
great.
Twist at
The second twist of like, just kidding,
But sort of not.
but sort of
It's-
not.
Watch the movie and then meet us in the comments to like discuss.
Definitely.
I'm more than
watch
willing
this
to
movie.
have conversations about this. My least favorite part,
Nope.
or what? No, my favorite part.
How many least favorites are you gonna have?
Yeah, especially since I really enjoyed this movie.
Right.
Honestly, it was the acting choices and direction of Maureen McCormick. Because I was so used to seeing her on the Brady Bunch as the goody two-shoes, and she's playing a cop who is enthralled by all the blood. First of all, people are vomiting at the dead bodies, and she's just eating a sandwich in one
She's like
scene.
lathering herself in blood
Yeah,
throughout the
well,
movie.
she slipped and fell in blood, and her boss was like, "What happened to you?" And she's like, "Oh, I fell in some blood." And it's like, she made some choices, and it was
not
hilarious.
It was not worth a zero.
no, like she should have got. There needs to be something where it's like the golden Razzie, but it's actually something that you enjoy.
Like most covered in fake blood in a movie.
Sure.
That's the
She
award she
deserves
gets.
something because like her acting choices were. Mwah.
Oh yeah, this was just like, it was every wrong thing happening all at the same time, and it was exactly the right things it had to be.
Really was. Is there anything else?
Watch
you gotta-
this. Go watch this.
Definitely watch this.
Definitely
movie.
go watch
On a
this.
scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate it? And you can either just give it a straight up one, or do you want to do two where it's like one's for the quality,
All
one's
right,
for the fun?
let's do that.
Okay.
All right. So, for quality, this movie's probably about a 2. All right.
I would say a 4,
Like
honestly.
even the actors who were actors and had like practice doing this in real movies didn't bring their B game. It was just
They didn't
you know.
their B game. That's good.
So definitely 2.5 tops.
I would have said 4, but go ahead. Or I did say 4.
For how fun this movie is and being exactly what I wanted it to be, this movie's like an 8.
Yeah, I'm going to give it an 8 for that also. But I already knew what it was, and I let him know ahead of time because sometimes you're not in the mood to watch a schlocky, fun movie.
Oh, yeah.
So I let him know. I was like, this is what this is.
This is almost the movie that Terrifier is trying to be.
It's the,
You know,
it's the type of thing.
Except
Terrifier is way more realistic with their
blood.
gore.
Right.
Yeah.
Bad acting,
But awesome.
but great.
Yeah. So
Yes.
for fun, it's an 8.
Yeah.
So
Definitely go watch this.
2, 4, double 8.
8. Yes.
Which is a weird thing for
Yeah.
2 people to score one movie.
But
Now,
the part where the stuff is on the TV and you read it and I don't have to.
it's your turn.
Oh, okay. So you can see it says Fact TV channel 1082, Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Fridays at 7 p.m. That's when you can watch this show.
And you can check us out on Facebook. And when I say us, I mean Gory Storytime has a Facebook, but also so does Fact TV. Like that one too.
Yeah, you can go to fact8.com, watch a bunch of the back episodes of this show, as well as many hours of content. Lots and lots of it.
And then you can go over to X, which used to be Twitter, and follow me at Craig Jakes, all one word, all lowercase.
Yes, and I'm at Jiggly Fern Brain. I only tweet things that he says that I find funny and are out of context. Out of context.
Most of the time.
Almost
And
always.
I never talk about the show when I'm tweeting. I do a lot of hashtag war games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So. But I like posting humorous stuff from this show and from other shows too.
Yeah.
Clips of stuff. Anyway.
So.
Also, check us out on YouTube. Type in Gory Storytime, and the 2 channels that'll come up are Gory Storytime.
Which
Please
makes
like
sense.
and subscribe. Watch there. Also, Fact TV, who has let us do this for over 300 episodes now. We have them posted on theirs also. So follow, like, subscribe, thumbs up over there too.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're going to just watch it once, do it on ours. Anyway. If it's really good, watch it on theirs as the rerun.
Yeah. And then there were none. That's the end?
Yeah.
This is the end of the show now. I've been your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and father, Craig, and
Sweet dreams.